Mr. Manning, is the plea paperwork completed for Mr. Delbert?
Yes, Judge.
You've gone over that, and I'm assuming that Aaron, you have the original copy out there with you. So mine's a blank copy. So look on that trial court certification, like where all that's blank, is all that filled out? Like defendant's name and cause number and all that?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, good. All right, I'm ready for Mr. Delbert if he is in there and ready to go. I believe he's the only plea that's ready.
No, sir, I think we've changed. That's the only plea over here today. Mr. Delbert, come on up, sir.
All right, Mr. Delbert, I'm gonna ask you to raise your right hand so I can place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So,
All right, you can put your hand down. Make sure you speak up loudly and clearly so that I can hear you along with my court reporter. You are Joshua Scott Delbert, is that correct?
yes, sir.
This is cause number CR 2380. Mr. Delbert, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Do you read, write, and speak English?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition?
No, sir.
In this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Manning. Are you pleased with his representation of you?
Yes, sir.
You feel like you've had enough time to discuss your case with him and have all of your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything about the plea agreement that you do not understand?
No, sir.
And everywhere that your signature appears in the documents, are you swearing that that is your true and correct signature and you've only signed the documents letting me know that you understand what you've read?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Manning, do you believe your client to be competent today?
He is, Judge.
You've explained to him his legal and constitutional rights?
I have, Judge.
And the plea agreement that appears before the court is Mr. Delbert pleads guilty to the third-degree felony offense of assault of a family or household member with previous conviction in exchange for the state's recommendation of sentence of 10 years TDC, suspended for 5 years community supervision, a $4,000 fine, $770 reimbursement fee, and $290 court costs. Does that sound right, Mr. Manning?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, Mr. Delbert, the range of punishment for a third-degree felony offense is confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a period of not less than 2 years or more than 10 years and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand that full range of punishment?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Delbert, at this time, I'm going to ask you, how do you plead to that offense?
Guilty.
And Mr. Delbert, are you pleading guilty to that offense because you are guilty of committing that offense?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you, forced you, or pressured you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
All right, the court will accept the defendant's plea of guilt. Mr. Manning, any objection to States 1?
No objection.
States 1 is admitted into evidence, and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Is there anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
Rest and close.
All right, court's going to review the evidence briefly. All right, and is there any kind of victim impact statement, Ms. Heisel?
Judge, let me look. I don't believe so, but this was added to the docket yesterday, so Ms. Cheney did not have an opportunity to go through it. Let me check real quick. Judge, it looks like we did provide that to the victim, but it was never returned to our office.
So there's no actual position of the victim in this case?
That's my understanding.
All right, then based on the evidence before the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Delbert of this offense. The court will follow the plea agreement in this case, convicts Mr. Delbert of the third-degree felony offense of assault of a family or household member with previous conviction, assesses his punishment at 10 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. Court will suspend that sentence and place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 5 years. Court also assesses a $4,000 fine, $290 court cost, and orders Mr. Delbert to reimburse Van Zandt County $770. Mr. Delbert, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff, to the Van Zandt County Community Supervision and Corrections Department, so they carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm gonna have you go with the bailiffs to be fingerprinted. Once you are released, you need to report immediately to the Van Zandt County Probation Department. And you need to do that before 4. If you're released before 4 p.m. today, you need to report there today. If you're not released before 4 or it's really close to 4, then you need to report to their office tomorrow. Actually, Ms. Heisel, do we know if probation is open on Fridays at all?
Judge, I think that they are open until noon, but I'm not 100% sure because I know that has changed a little bit because of COVID, but I know that there are people in the office this week.
All right, Mr. Delbert, if you are released before 4 p.m., report there today. If you're not released until 4 or after, then you'll need to report to the probation department before 4 p.m. on Monday. Okay.
Sir. That's fine.
Judge, I believe that concludes all the business I have before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Manning. Appreciate you getting the plea paperwork done.
No problem. Thanks, Judge.
So it's my understanding that Mr. Adams has not gone over the plea paperwork with Ms. Ozuna, nor has Mr. Ashmore gone over the plea paperwork with Mr. Norris.
Okay.
So,
We'll just be here, Judge.
and is Mr. Norris in our custody?
I believe so.
Yes, sir.
We could put Mr. Norris and Mr. Ashmore in a breakout room and let them discuss it, the paperwork, but we'll have to, in 20 minutes, we'll need to take up Mr. Leha. So let me see if is Mr. Norris there in the room with you?
Your Honor, he is, and that would take care of the signatures for Mr. Norris, but this paperwork I have doesn't have Mr. Ashmore's signatures either.
Right, we could have Mr. Norris sign, and then we could send that back to, I guess we could email that back to Ms. Taberham. We could email it to Mr. Ashmore. Then he'd have to sign it, print it, sign it, and send it back. It's a problem. As soon as Mr. Ashmore gets logged in here, we'll see.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Burns, is your office open tomorrow at all? I couldn't remember. I didn't know you were over there.
Not tomorrow, no.
Okay.
You wanna write in? Do you know what's in there? Okay, this is what the first way to do it. You're gonna get on, check it start. I don't think you know.
Well, I should have brought all my information with me, but I don't think when we bring 903, 574. 903, 574, 3964.
Mr. Ashmore,
Yes, Judge.
are you available to discuss Mr. Norris?
I am, Your Honor. If I literally just got back from a plea in Rockwall, I asked Judge Rako to excuse me because he knew I had this conflict. And I'm back at the office and I can get on a better signal. I know this one might be a little fuzzy.
All right, go ahead, go
I
ahead,
did-
go ahead and do that. Go ahead and log off and then go get in your office and log back in and
I will do that, sir. Thank you so much.
we need a game plan, Mr. Norris here.
Understand.
All right, see you in a minute. Anyway, wait.
I thought this morning went pretty well, Judge. Nobody turned themselves into a cat, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do that.
Tyler really wants to do that.
Yeah, you have to be pretty talented, and so I know it'll never happen to me. So we're waiting on Mr. Adams, Miss Ozuna. While we're waiting, I'll tell you what, let's go to a breakout room. And then I know you want to talk about Miss Dickinson, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let me set up a couple breakout rooms real quick.
Mr. Leno? Do you speak English? Okay. So when you are released, because I think you're going to get out today as well. If you're out before 4, you need to go to the probation department.
Okay.
Mhm. Who's your officer? Who is
Oh,
your?
this is- I don't remember, but we didn't change.
All of yours.
Yeah. This is the one that. If we don't make it by 4 days, they'll decide later, we're gonna get to the 4, y'all are open tomorrow, we need to do it what's.
Not tomorrow, you should be there Monday at 9 o'clock. You could probably, could you not go back and do?
I'm sorry.
Delbert?
I think it's supposed to be, man.
I think they're done, so you could probably go back and
Go back.
look you up.
Thank you.
That helps. I don't know what I'm
It helps me.
Hey, Mr. Delbert's ready, and I think he's ready to walk out the front door, so if you want to come get him. Thank you. Thank you, I unplugged my brain, so. Unless you want to stick around and watch there.
Mr. Delbert, where do you live? You live in Mystic Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
What time is close today for the probation?
We close at 5. Let me see who you're,
You need to come in today, maybe.
do you live in Mystic County?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually in the process. Well, that's right, I gotta take you there.
Hey, I'll know when you're booked out, so if you don't show up over there today.
I'm not gonna do right this time, I'm not screwed up.
Okay.
I'm done doing all that. But yes, ma'am, I will get there today if I can get there.
I called him to come get you, and I totally forgot also that I gotta take those papers to the judge and sign.
Ooh. Sit back down.
Having a bit of a full moon back there today, so. Yes, thank you.
All right, Mr. Ashmore, on Mr. Norris. You haven't gone over the paperwork with him, is that right? And you're muted. You're still on mute.
Sorry, Judge. No, I have not had a chance to go over the paperwork with him.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is have Ms. Tabraham email you? Do you already have the plea paperwork?
I do have it. I do have it. And we did talk about the scope of the agreement. So he's aware.
Well, let's do this. Go ahead and sign all your portions.
Mhm.
Scan and email it back to Ms. Tabraham.
And we'll do that.
And then we'll forward it out to the sheriff's office so they can print it out, so we can have signatures all in one spot. What we're gonna do is I've got a plea at 2 o'clock with an interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get past that, then I'll be able to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Norris and y'all can discuss it. He can sign it and then we'll go forward.
Yes, sir. We'll do that.
So just, you can kill your video and kill your audio, and then whenever 2 o'clock comes and goes and I get my other plea done, then I'll get you set up.
Thank you so much, Judge.
You're welcome.
Miss Karen, we're gonna have another set of paperwork coming in the near future. You want it to go to you? Or Stacy or? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna stand in recess until 2 o'clock until Mr. Perales logs in. And then we will do Mr. Layoff. And then we'll have Miss Ozuna at 3 o'clock. She'll be zooming from Henderson with Mitch Adams. And then somewhere in between, we'll try to do Mr. Norris.
Judge, is there an issue with Miss Ozuna similar to Mr. Ashmore's that, didn't you mention that they hadn't gone over their paperwork?
Yes, I think Mr. Abraham's taken that up with him, and he's gonna try to meet with her in a breakout room prior to 3.
Okay, that was my question, just so we could get that ball rolling. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Okay, Larry, so can you give him this, and that's when he's.
Give this to Mr. Delbert. Okay.
Actually, give me a call. Okay. All right, thank you. So you would see Carolyn Bryant. Okay. So you're gonna report to her Monday. Monday at 9:30. Okay, so there's that. She's not there today. She'll be there Monday. Okay.
So are you doing anything fun next week or just not coming to work?
What am I thinking?
Nice. I'm gonna stow away your luggage.
We have an RCI package that we bought like 2 years ago. So,
One of those like timeshares?
yeah, and so after you pay on it so much or it's paid off, you have so many free weeks. Well, you actually paid for them, but they're there to take now. So we have 2 we have to use by July on it.
Is it at a resort?
It is. It's going to be at the Hard Rock.
There on the beach?
Not happy.
No, okay. Especially after last week. I had a friend in Carrollton who took a vacation down there somewhere on Playa
Mhm.
during the snow again.
Yeah, and that's my favorite place is Playa.
He's posting pictures every day, and then, oh, poor guy, he got stuck. Couldn't fly back. Good for you.
I'm ready.
So people can hear us and heard that you're going to the beach. Got a bunch of people who are getting ready to stow away.
I thought we were needed.
So those baggage handlers just don't worry about checking the weight. I've got a lot of swimsuits in there. Oh,
I'm not leaving the classes either, so.
Hello, Leonard, how are you?
I'm fine, Judge. How are you?
Doing good. Let me go down here right now before I forget. Mr. Rueda, if you can throw a jacket on for me before we.
Yes, of course, Judge. Apologies.
Let me go down here to my interpretation button. Make sure that I've got this correct. You always like to zing me with that, so I'm trying to beat you to the punch today. English to Spanish.
Yep.
Okay, and then I go down here and hit English. You may have me trained yet. You can put another judge under your belt.
See,
Excellent. Okay, we ready to begin?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is cause number CR 15462 and also cause number 2021-10 State versus Ismael Rocha Leja. And it's my understanding today that with regards to the motion to revoke filed by the state, that the state is asking the court to grant their withdrawal of that and to extend Mr. Leja on his community supervision for a period of 1 year. And that's going to include also an amendment to include additional court costs. In addition to that, it appears that Mr. Leha's misdemeanor case would be pled to a Class C misdemeanor today. What was the original charge on that, Mr. Woodwike?
Judge, it was assault causes bodily injury to a family member. Given the nature of the charges of the case that we did receive, and our inability to contact the complaining witness in this, we've tried for some weeks to try to get a hold of her. We in fact found some additional contact information. We've had a interpreter try to reach out to get contact with her, and we are unable to do so. Given those facts, we are agreeing to proceed on the lesser included simple assault. And we are not seeking a family violence finding at this time.
Okay. Is it assault by contact or assault by contact family violence? Because the judgment does say family violence.
Judge, it should just be assault by contact without family violence.
There should be two judgments, Your Honor. I think the second judgment is the one that I had it with me in my possession there at the jail.
And I don't have the second judgment. All I have is this one here. That says, let me see if I can get it out there so we can see it. So is that incorrect?
That is not what we were intending to proceed on. I believe that Mr. Leha that is not what he wants to proceed on either.
And Deputy McLeish, are you at the jail? Or Ms. Burns, can you assist me?
Judge, I think they're only in Spanish, so I'm not sure that they're going to be able to hear you.
Mr. Perales, can you ask? Can you ask if they're in the jail court, if they could assist me for a moment?
What do we need, folks? I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to ask you, can you get the paperwork that Mr. Leha signed and look at the judgment for me? And can you just hold it up to the camera, Aaron? Just the first page of the judgment, just the top third. And if you can bring that closer, keep on coming. I'll tell you when. Keep on coming. Keep on coming.
Judge, I can see that that's just
Okay.
assault by contact without the family violence.
Okay, and I wanted to see that too. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I know there was a previous judgment that we did not realize it still had the family violence. We wanted to make sure that that was not included.
So let me also ask you, on this judgment that I have, it says that there was $100 family violence fine. Is there still a $500 fine, or is it $100?
It should be fine and court costs total is $500 is I believe what it should be.
What was provided to me was $500 fine, including $100 family violence plus $76 court cost, plus reimbursement fees.
There is also, a judge, in addition to the new judgment, there is also a new cost sheet that was provided to me in an email that I also took to the jail. So that should also be in possession of Deputy McLeish.
Okay, who else has this judgment? I really need to see it because I think everything that I'm reading from is incorrect, and that's going to complicate the plea if I'm not clear on it.
That email came from Stephanie Abney, is the only other individual that I know that has it. I got that email this morning at 9:43 in the morning. I'm looking at it now. I'm happy to send it to Your Honor if Your Honor would. I can email it. I can forward it over to Your Honor.
Let's do this. Can you share your screen?
Oh, I can.
Let me give you that.
Sure can.
Judge, I have a copy of it as well, and I have your email if that would be easier or faster.
I think share screen is probably going to be easier because I don't have my email open. If you can just share it, I'll just mark up this one that I have. I just want to make sure that I've got it correct.
Okay. Don't have the ability to. There it is. Share screen. I got it, Judge. And this is the
And do you have that new judgment with you?
Yes, Judge.
Show me that too. Show me
Of
that
course,
if you don't mind.
of course.
Excellent. Go on down for me.
Yes, sir.
We get down kind of to the costs right there. So $500 fines, all that remains the same. No $100 family violence. Can you go to the next page for me?
Sure.
And just keep on going.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here we see here it says $400 fine, and on the front page it says $500 fine. So we have a discrepancy in the judgment there. And that's because before there was a $100 family violence fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what is y'all's agreement on that? 400 or 500?
Judge, state would agree to $400 plus court costs is sufficient by the state.
There's no objection.
All right, so what I'll do is whenever I get the judgment back before me, I will strike 500 there on the first page in those two sections, and I'll write 400.
Yes, Judge, that's more than sufficient by the state.
Yes, Judge, we also agree.
Okay, all right, I think that gets me where I need to be.
Judge, real quick, we're going to request that the time that Mr. Leha has been incarcerated there at Van Zant count towards his fines and court costs.
I'll let you, whenever I get through this.
Yes, sir.
I'll
Yes,
let you urge that.
yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I can keep my screen up if you'd like, Judge, or I can stop the sharing.
That's okay. That's okay. I had a staff member. She brought me one, so that's.
Okay. Would you like me to stop?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Leha, if you will, raise your right hand so I can place you under oath. Mr. Leha, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And Mr. Perales, I forgot, let me place you under oath as well at this time. And Mr. Perales, if you'll just go ahead and announce yourself for the record and your license number. All right, Mr. Perales, do you swear that you will make a true translation of the statements of court, the questions of counsel, and the testimony to be given by the defendant or any witnesses in this matter now on trial to the best of your skill and judgment, so help you God? All right, thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. All right. So my questions for Mr. Leha are, Mr. Leha, are you a United States citizen?
Yeah. Resident.
All right. And do you understand that pleading guilty to a charge may result in some type of adverse finding against your status in this country?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you're willing to accept that risk in going forward with the plea today?
Sí.
Do you speak or read any English?
Yeah, poquito.
In this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Martin Rueda. Do you feel like you've had enough time to discuss the paperwork with him and have all of your legal questions answered?
Sí.
Did Mr. Rueda explain the documents to you in your native language of Spanish?
Sí.
And do you feel like you understood what he was explaining to you?
Sí.
And are you pleased with his representation of you in this matter?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sí.
And do you feel like you've had enough time to talk to him about your case and have all of your legal questions answered?
Sí, señor.
And have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition?
No.
All right, Mr. Rueda, do you feel like your client is competent today to enter into this plea agreement?
I do, Your Honor.
And you've explained to him his legal and constitutional rights.
Yes, Your Honor, as well as his immigration potential consequences, which he understood.
Thank you, Mr. Rueda. All right, Mr. Leha, let me tell you, in cause number 2021-10, you were charged by information with assault causes bodily injury with family violence. However, the charge today before the court is reduced to that of a Class C misdemeanor, assault by contact. Assault by contact carries a range of punishment of a fine only not to exceed $500. Do you understand that range of punishment?
Sí, señor.
All right, and so to the charge of assault by contact, which was alleged to have occurred on August 21st of 2020, guilty or not guilty?
De violencia doméstica.
It does not.
El 2000, ¿qué es?
August 21st of 2020. And it is the incident alleged to have involved family violence, but the offense to be pled to today does not include a family violence finding. He needs to understand that.
Yes.
Mr. Leha, this is a case that we were representing you on, we discussed today.
Oh, ya, sí. Sí, ese es de los mismos casos de 2020.
Okay, so how does he plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty?
No, sí, culpable.
And is, Mr. Leha, are you pleading guilty because you are guilty of committing that offense and for no other reason?
Sí.
Mr. Leha, has anyone forced you or pressured you to plead guilty to this offense?
No.
All right, Mr. Rueda, is there any objection to State's Exhibit 1, the stipulation of evidence in this cause?
No, no objection.
All right, State's 1 is admitted into evidence and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Now, with regards to cause number CR 15-462, it's my understanding that the state has filed a motion to withdraw the state's motion to revoke and terminate community supervision. And the court this day will grant that motion, and the court needs to know from Mr. Leha. Mr. Leha, do you agree to have your probation in the felony case extended for a period of 1 year, which would have your new end date being May 25th of 2022? And by extending your probation, you're also going to be required to pay additional fees, including court costs. You understand that? And fine.
Sí.
Okay. All right, the court this day is going to approve and grant the motion to withdraw, motion to revoke. Court hereby amends the conditions of community supervision for Mr. Leha. It orders his probation period to be extended for 1 year, beginning on May 26th of 2021 and ending on May 25th of 2022. I'm going to take just a moment to review the evidence in the assault case. All right. Based on the court's review of the evidence, I find there is enough evidence to convict Mr. Leha of this offense. The court will follow the plea agreement reached between the state and the defendant. The court hereby convicts Mr. Leha of the Class C misdemeanor offense of assault by contact. Court assesses his punishment at a $500 fine. Court also orders court costs of $76 and reimbursement fee of $65. Do we know, Mr. Woodwike, if the fines and court costs in this case have been made a part of his community supervision conditions to ensure payment?
Judge, I do not believe they have, but if Ms. Burns is there, she would be able to confirm that.
So, did y'all discuss that at all in resolving both cases?
No, Judge, we did not.
Mr. Rueda, would you have any objection to Mr. Leha's conditions of community supervision, including the requirement that he pay the fines and court costs and reimbursement fees in this case also as a condition in his felony case?
I don't have an objection, Judge. My main concern is that Mr. Leha's holds be released today. So as long as Mr. Leha doesn't object, I did not have that discussion with him, but if Mr. Leha does not object, I don't think he would, but if he doesn't object, we're fine with it. And I believe the fine was $400, Judge.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it still says 500 even on this.
I understand.
Mr. Perales, can you ask Mr. Leha if he has any objection to the fines and fees in his misdemeanor case being included in his probation on his felony case? Okay, so I would order the probation department to ensure that the $400 fine and court costs and reimbursement fee ordered in 2021-10 be included as a condition of his community supervision in CR 15462. All right, Mr. Leha, you are hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of your sentence. And whenever you're released from custody, I need you to report back to your probation department or make contact with them immediately so they can discuss with you further your case and make sure that you stay in compliance with your probation. Do you understand?
See,
All right, I'm gonna have you go with the bailiff to be fingerprinted. All right, Mr. Rueda, anything further? Do we need Mr. Perales any longer?
No, Judge, I have nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. I appreciate you being able to help us on such short notice.
Yes, thank you.
You too. Great to see you. All right, if there's nothing further for you, Mr. Rueda, I appreciate you coming over this morning and talking with Mr. Leha and getting this done.
That's okay, Judge. It's my job. I'm happy to do it. I want to thank Deputy McLeish for her help and assistance in all of this as well.
It's nice to meet you, sir.
You too. Thank you very much. Tyler, thank you. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rueda.
Hey, it's no hurry, but if y'all are up here and you can come get Mr. Leha, he's ready, but he's fine sitting here just the same. Thank you. Okey-dokey. Oh, I'm sorry. These are the two.
Yeah, I gave you this, so that's fine. Monday morning.
They're ready, they just need to come back out.
Karen, is Deputy,
Yes, sir, I'm here.
okay, I believe that we sent the paperwork out on Mr. Norris, so that should be there momentarily if it's not.
Okay.
And Mr. Ashmore is ready. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and invite you to join another breakout room so that when you do have that paperwork, if you'll give that to Mr. Norris, then Mr. Ashmore and Mr. Norris will be able to go over that together.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to prompt you here to probably join room 2, it should say. So we'll see how this goes.
I'm going to room 5.
Go to room 5.
Room 5. Mr. Adams. Can you hear me, Mr. Adams? Nope.
What do you see in that?
All right, Mr. Norris, if you will, sir, please raise your right hand so I can place you on oath. Mr. Norris, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Mr. Norris, in this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Casey Ashmore. Do you feel like you've had enough time to talk to him about your case and have all of your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything about the plea paperwork today that you've read that you do not understand?
No, sir.
And Mr. Ashmore, do you believe Mr. Norris to be competent today to enter into this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Norris, you appeared before the court on January 29th of 2019, and you pled guilty to the third-degree felony offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1, greater than or equal to 1 gram but less than 4 grams. The court found you guilty, assessed your punishment at 10 years confinement in TDC. However, on that date, the court suspended that sentence and placed you on community supervision or probation for a period of 5 years. It was during that term, during that period of your community supervision, that the state had filed a motion to revoke your community supervision. And they did that on November 11th of last year. And in that motion, they alleged 4 different ways that you violated your community supervision. Have you had an opportunity to read through that document and discuss it with Mr. Ashmore?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ashmore, does your client waive the formal reading of the state's motion, and is it his intent to plead to all counts as included?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Norris, then let me ask you at this time, I'm reading from the state's motion to revoke community supervision as to counts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are those counts true or not true?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got to tell me, are they true or not true?
Oh, yes, sir, they're true.
Okay. And Mr. Norris, are you telling me that those counts are true because in fact they are true and for no other reason?
They are true.
And has anyone threatened you, forced you, or pressured you to plead true to these counts?
No, sir.
All right, the court will accept the defendant's plea of true to each count as alleged. Mr. Ashmore, any objection to the defendant's waiver of rights and plea of true as State's Exhibit A?
No, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence, and the court takes judicial notice of Mr. Norris's judicial confession. Is there anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, upon the court's review of the evidence, the court finds that Mr. Norris has in fact violated the terms and conditions of his community supervision. The court will follow the plea agreement reached in this case between the defendant and the state. The court hereby revokes the defendant's community supervision, assesses his punishment at 8 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. Court orders him to pay the balance of his financial obligations. The court awards Mr. Norris 417 days credit for the time that he has spent in jail on this cause. Mr. Norris, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of your sentence. Good luck to you, sir.
Cole, good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ashmore. Does that conclude your business?
It does, Your Honor. May be excused.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir. See you soon.
Where's your office? Be in your name, please. Straight up. Perfect. Perfect. Mr. Norris does this.
Looks like we're just waiting on Henderson County to zoom in, so we'll just stand in recess and wait.
Thank you.
Yes, Judge.
I'm gonna sit in recess. You can stand if you want.
Your Honor, I'm gonna sign out unless there's something else I can do for you.
No, ma'am, I don't think there is. We certainly do appreciate your help today very much. Couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Patty,
I think it goes
Patty.
better with Deputy McLeish here, so I'd ask that she remain just for cause.
Overruled. Overruled.
Thank you.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
Aaron, Patty and I will be out there soon to talk with you and Sheriff Hendricks about the relocation and those issues. I know that that's a front burner thing. So we'll be out there soon to talk to you about that.
Well, I actually have to come to the courthouse today for something else, so y'all are welcome to come out here, but I'm also going to be going there as well.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it when you get here then.
Thank you.
Mhm. Let's see. All right. I'll check with Patty, see if she's heard from Henderson.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Adams, are you ready to proceed on Ms. Ozuna's case?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
All right, this is cause number CR 18408, State of Texas versus Becky Louise Ozuna. And Ms. Ozuna, if you will, ma'am, please raise your right hand. I'm going to place you under oath. Ma'am, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Oh, you're on mute. Let me see if I can get you unmuted here. Do you have a staff member? Is there anyone back there with you that can take you off mute?
Your Honor, I think she has to press a button and send for her butler to do that for her.
Okay, give her just a second. While we're waiting on Ms. Ozuna, let me just go ahead and cover a couple of different things. Ms. Ozuna, you can't hear me though, correct? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay, record will reflect that she can hear me. All right, so Mr. Adams, it looks like this is a revocation and the state filed a motion to revoke in December of 2019 and they alleged 7 counts. Is it going to be your client's intention to plead true to all 7 counts?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
All right, and it looks like the plea agreement is in exchange for her plea of true. The recommendation is 6 months state jail, balance of financial obligations, and then 57 days credit for time spent on this cause. And it is a state jail felony, PCS less than 1. All that sound right?
That sounds right, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay. Ms. Ozuna, okay. Yeah. Ms. Ozuna, if you can hear me, they'll just need to unmute the device so that you can speak. We just need the device unmuted. There we go. That'll work.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you, jail staff. I appreciate the help.
Good.
I have another meeting at 4 o'clock.
We'll be done. We'll be done.
We'll be
All
done,
right.
he said.
We'll be done in less than 5 minutes. All right, so Zuna, do you swear, go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear when you give to the court the truth, the whole truth, and the truth, so help you God?
I swear, I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Ms. Ozuna, the state filed a motion to revoke. Mr. Adams, does your client waive the formal reading of the motion to revoke?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll waive that reading.
Ms. Ozuna, have you had enough time to discuss this case with your attorney, Mr. Adams, and have all of your legal questions answered?
Yes.
You understand everything that you've read and signed?
Yes.
And throughout the documents, if your signature appears, is that your true and correct signature and you signed only once you've read and understood everything? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Adams, do you believe Ms. Ozuna to be competent today to enter into this plea?
she's competent.
All right. And Ms. Ozuna, you heard me read the plea agreement to Mr. Adams earlier. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, and that's what you want the court to approve today?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Ms. Ozuna, at this time, I'm going to ask you as to counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, as alleged in the state's motion to revoke. Are those counts true or not true?
They're true.
And Ms. Ozuna, are you telling me that those are true because in fact they are true and for no other reason?
Yeah. Yes, sir. They're true.
Okay. And has anyone threatened you, forced you, or pressured you to plead true to any of these counts?
No, sir.
All right. The court will accept Ms. Ozuna's pleas of true. Mr. Adams, any objection to the defendant's waiver of rights and plea of true as State's Exhibit A?
No objection.
All right. State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. The court takes judicial notice of Ms. Ozuna's judicial confession. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from the defense, Mr. Adams?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, based upon the evidence before the court and Ms. Ozuna's pleas of true, the court's going to find that Ms. Ozuna has violated the terms and conditions of her community supervision. Court finds that her sentence should be assessed, her community supervision be revoked, and her punishment assessed at 6 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Division. Court orders her to pay the balance of her financial obligations, including fine, court costs, and restitution. The court awards Ms. Ozuna 57 days credit for the time that she has spent in jail on this cause. Ms. Ozuna, when you get out of state jail, if you have not paid off all of the money that you owe, you're going to need to contact the Van Zandt County Courthouse and speak with the court collections officer so that we can set you up on a payment plan. Your failure to do that is going to result in a warrant being issued for your arrest, and you're going to be right back in custody, and that's not good for you or us, okay?
Oh, I'm not coming back. But
Right.
yeah, but the attorney was going to ask in favor if I could be moved to the state or
Oh, yeah, Your Honor, Ms. Ozuna and I have talked about the fact that she has approximately 4 months left of her sentence. We've talked about the situation that a lot of state jail units are in right now, in that some are not able to accept new inmates and some are doing so slowly. I've noted that there's not much that we can do about that or much control over that we haven't. And so we don't want you to know, Judge, that she is anxious to be somewhere where she has the opportunity to do things that for her betterment and not just sitting and watching the TV all day in the county jail.
Yes, sir. And Ms. Ozuna, so the way it works is once we sign the judgment, I send it out to the sheriff's office, they send it to TDC, and then TDC makes the arrangements on where you go and what unit and when you get picked up or if you get picked up. So I've seen state jail inmates not go down if their sentence is almost expired or has been expired. I would anticipate that you would be picked up sooner or later, but I do not have any control over where you go or when you go or how fast you go. Can assure you this, that Van Zandt County will be sending your paperwork in to TDC so that they can move you out of their custody as soon as possible. So once we send that out, it's kind of a wait and see what TDC does before they take possession of you. Okay.
okay.
So
Thank
we'll do our part and try to make that as fast as possible. But once we do that, it's kind of a wait and see game. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, Ms. Ozuna?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Ozuna, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I believe if you haven't been, I need to have you fingerprinted on the judgment there in Henderson County. If they haven't done that, if you'll ask them and remind them that they need to do that for me. And just tell them I appreciate their assistance in getting you zoomed in with us today.
Okay. I will.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ozuna.
Mhm.
We'll be adjourned in this hearing.
Thank you.
All right, and Mr. Adams, you haven't submitted your motion to pay yet, have you?
No, Your Honor, I'll let you file it.
Okay, all right, as soon as that gets here, I'll get that approved.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Nice to see everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Woodwike, appreciate your help.
Thank you, Judge. Are we finished for today?
I believe so, and I'm gonna go ahead and close you out, Ms. Ozuna.
Hillary, you're muted.
My unmute button's not working very well. Judge, I'm headed over with the discs from this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think that does, so Norris pled, Delbert pled, Ozuna pled. 3 cases, 3 hours. Not very efficient, but we got 3 pled.
Getting it done, however long it takes, Judge.
That's right. That's right. That should be our motto. All right, cool. Thank y'all for your help today. Appreciate your work.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, see y'all. You have a good day. See you, Ms. Shadows.